Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Disaster Readiness and Risk Reduction. We are already at our 17th week for finals. For week 17, our topic is about what to expect between the state and the citizens. So once again, this PowerPoint presentation was prepared by Sir Jemuel Antonio Garcia. So for week 17, we will understand and explain the Act 10121, which is Philippine Disaster Risk Reduction Management Act of 2010 and its implementing rules and regulations, and also abide by policies on the RRM. So these are we will discuss the functions of NDRRMC, also the functions of RDRRMC and functions of LDRRMCS, and disaster volunteers, education training, coordination during emergencies, state of calamity, remedial measures, international humanitarian assistance, and prohibited acts. And also under funding, the LDRRM fund and the RRM fund, and funding of OCD. So these are going to be our topic for the Philippine Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Law. So let's proceed to our discussion. So let's proceed first on watching this video regarding about the Philippine Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Act.
These disasters. DRRM Plan of 2010, a government plan to prepare us for catastrophes. It not only ensures us of disaster preparedness, but also provides us the framework of the DRRM system. In the system, it is stated that emergency funds will be released by the government and state-run banks to ensure proper recovery after the disaster strikes. It is also stated that the NDRRMC, or the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council, will be in charge of the preparations before the disaster strikes, and when it strikes, and leaves. To expound on the DRRM, it has 4 thematic areas to ensure a safer community. The first is disaster preparedness, which is preparing by addressing the people, stockpiling, and preparing relief goods. Second is disaster mitigation and prevention, which is to prevent the loss of lives and avoiding hazards. Third is the disaster response, which is to ensure proper response after the disaster by conducting rescue operations and distributing relief goods. Lastly is the disaster rehabilitation and recovery, which is to recover from the losses and to restore damages. And that is why it is vital to know and attain the information pertaining about RA 10121 because it teaches us to be prepared.
So we'll watch another video discussion.
So for this one, I will show you a video discussion that clearly explained Republic Act 10121 or the Philippine Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Act of 2010 and the essence of it and the rules and regulations. So let's watch this wonderful discussion.
Hello Kadwa, welcome back to my channel. I am Yong Isnara. Today we are going to do a short discussion which is a request of course of some viewers of our channel. Ang rini-request nila, they are requesting what's the essence of having Republic Act 10121. So hindi lang essence ang ating sasabihan ngayon. We will also relate what has happened after implementing this Republic Act 10121. So let's get started. I'll be using a PowerPoint para mas ma-explain sa inyo kung ano ba ang naitulong ng Republic Act 10121. Okay? So we start it here. Alam naman natin, of course, na ang Pilipinas ay nababalutan ng Ring of Fire. Ano yung Ring of Fire ang tinatawag? Ito po yung bahay ng mga lindol at mga volcano. So first hazard na ating pinoproblema is this Pacific Ring of Fire. How did we say that? It is evidenced by the experienced earthquakes, no? Sa lahat ng sa buong Pilipinas, marami pong nangyayaring lindol dyan araw-araw. Hindi lang natin nararamdaman. At pasalamat tayo, wala pong nangyayari na yung malakas na maaaring makasira sa ating mga tahanan. Okay? So again, one problem of the Philippines is the Pacific Ring of Fire which causes earthquakes in daily lives or sa araw-araw na pamumuhay, may earthquake tayong nararanasan. Pangalawa, ang Pilipinas po ay nasa Pacific Typhoon Belt. Ano naman ang Pacific Typhoon Belt? We are located at the home of the typhoons, hurricanes. Basta malapit po tayo sa equator, and alam naman natin ang malapit sa equator ay mainit at may hindi maintindihang panahon na gustong-gusto ng mga typhoons, mga cyclones, mga hurricanes na kadalasan nararanasan natin every year dito sa ating bansa. Pangalawang hazard. Kung titignan nga natin, Philippines is the exporter of typhoons, sabi nga. And kung titignan natin yung mga tracks ng ating typhoon since 1948, wala na. We are covered mainly by typhoons every year. Dumadagdag pa dyan ang climate change. Yung nakikita, nag-iiba-iba na ang panahon natin and we are already experiencing climate changes. Ayan, medyo tumataas na ang temperature. And the climate change, I know well that you are aware of this, but we will be discussing this again on another topic. Pangatlo, ang climate change. So, aside from these natural hazards, typhoon, flood, storm surge, earthquake, tsunamis, volcanic eruption, landslide, drought, pang-apat na pinoproblema natin na hazard ay ang human-induced. Lalong-lalo na po ang terrorist attack, civil disturbance, armed conflict, and the like. So, kung makikita nyo, marami po talagang problema with regards to hazard ang Philippines. Kaya nga, before 2010, meron naman na tayong ways on managing or handling these disasters. It was previously called the Disaster Coordinating Council. Kung napansin nyo, MDCC, meaning Municipal Disaster Coordinating Council. But after 2009 and it starts in 2010, iniba po siya sa pamamagitan ng Republic Act 10121. Kaya ang tawag ngayon sa mga nagtatrabaho para sa disaster ay ang Disaster Risk Reduction and Management. So since this Republic Act was brought out, the management of hazards and disasters is guided by this Republic Act, and pinalitan ang Disaster Coordinating Council at ginawa siyang Disaster Risk Reduction and Management.
Girlfriend payment delivery tomorrow.
Mama, may snack na po?
Oh, wait lang anak ha.
Mama, may snack na? Mama, may snack na? Mama, may snack na?
Para na to!
Mais? Snack? May
Balik tayo sa ating PowerPoint. Again, nung MDCC pa po ang yung nagmamanage sa disaster and hazard, the approach for when there is a disaster was reactive. Anong ibig sabihin ng reactive? Gumagalaw lang tayo kapag may nangyari na. So nagre-react lang tayo kapag nandyan na ang disaster. Yun po ang unang ginagawa natin, or yun po ang nilalaman ng previous disaster management, which is under the Disaster Coordinating Council. Now, nung lumabas ang Republic Act 10121, we are encouraged now to do a proactive approach. Okay? Proactive approach sa ating disaster management. So, paano po ang proactive approach? Okay. Hindi na po natin dapat hinihintay ang disaster na nangyari bago natin aksyonan. Unahan na natin ang disaster. Yun po ang pinaka-essence. Yun po ang pinaka-magandang pinalitan ng Republic Act 10121. Ibig sabihin, habang walang disaster, habang wala pang hazard, kailangan tayo gumagawa ng paraan para ihanda ang ating bayan, ihanda ang ating community sa pagdating ng sakuna na ating inaasahan taon-taon. Okay? Paano yan? We have this bottom-up. Ibig sabihin, puntahan natin si community, ihanda sila para alam nila ang gagawin nila kung merong hazard. Ang mga disaster, pag-aralan natin para alam natin kung sino ang vulnerable, at tulong-tulong na po tayo sa pagpaplano, mula pagpaplano hanggang paggawa ng mga prevention mitigation measures para nga proactive tayo, handang-handa tayo kung meron mang hazard na darating sa ating bansa. So, on the national level, there is this National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council. Ito po ang highest organized and authorized body dito sa Pilipinas. Okay? Dati-rati, it's called NDCC, National Disaster Coordinating Council. Ngayon po, NDRRMC na siya. Ang mga members andyan, ang pinaka-chairperson ay ating Secretary of Department of National Defense. Yan. Ang vice chairpersons, 4 yan. May kanya-kanyang toka. Sabi ko nga, ito yung 4 thematic areas na-discuss na rin natin sa unang video natin: prevention, mitigation, preparedness, disaster response, and then rehab and recovery. Ang executive director, OCD, at ang mga membro, iba't ibang organization, iba't ibang ahensya ng gobyerno. Ang key implementer ay ang Office of Civil Defense. So natututukan yan. Kahit walang bagyo, sabi ko nga, kahit walang hazard, may nagtatrabaho para gawing safe ang ating community. With regards to their operation center, may bago po silang operation center at 24/7 po siya. Ito po ang susunod na gusto natin din mangyari dito sa atin, na sana may mag 24/7 sa ating operation center. So, from the national, we have also regional DRRM, provincial DRRM, city DRRM, and municipal DRRM councils. Pati nga barangay, meron din silang barangay DRRM committees. Okay? Hindi na po council ang sa barangay level kasi nga they are already the grassroots. What they can do now is the committees para matutukan ang scope ng work sa particular area ng kanilang barangay. So, let's go back again sa municipal level. Dati-rati, walang ganitong office sa local level. May it be a provincial, municipal, wala pong tinatawag na Office for Disaster until Republic Act 10121 has mandated the LGUs to have a DRRM office and have a DRRM officer. Bakit nga? Kasi nga sabi natin, we are going through a proactive approach against disaster. So, kailangan nating paghandaan ang anumang sakuna by making our community prepared. At sino ang pwedeng gumawa niyan? Ang DRRM office. Okay? So, yan po ang toka ng DRRM office. So, in the early years, medyo may problema tayo sa risk index ng ating bansa. We've been placed third and bumulusok siya sa second place kasi nga medyo ito yung start. Actually, dito pa lang nag-start yung implementation ng Republic Act 10121 sa bandang 2013-2014. So, if you can see, nag-start tayo, second place ang Pilipinas sa risk index. Ayan yung mga first place, second place. Pero in 2018, nagiging third na siya. Sana in 2019-2020, maging fourth, fifth, or something. But of course, we are being challenged by the coronavirus right now, and we still don't know the assessment kung ano na nga ba ang nangyayari sa ating DRRM app. But kahit papaano naman, our DRRM has strived hard, and it was used actually nung una-una pa lang ng ating COVID-19 response. Lahat ng mga principles ng DRRM, yan po ang pinaka-basic na na-apply natin. Kaya medyo mas mabilis ang action sa pandemic. I couldn't imagine if wala tayong mga proseso na na-introduce. I don't know how was this handled kasi medyo magulo nga kasi first time na may pandemic. Buti na lang, before this pandemic came, kahit papaano, we have been doing our trainings, lalong-lalo na po sa incident command system, and it helped so much sa start po ng COVID-19 pandemic. At sana nga, we also capacitate everyone in the community para mas maganda ang response natin kung meron mang hazard na parating gaya ng ating COVID-19. So, ayan nga, nakita naman natin kung ano na ang naitulong ng Republic Act 10121 sa ating bansa. Unang-una sa lahat, binago ang approach natin sa DRRM. Ginawa niyang proactive ang dating reactive. Pangalawa, may mga trainings tayo natatanggap sa peacetime. Ibig sabihin, nakakapaghanda na tayo at na-apply natin ito sa anumang hazard na dumarating. Pangatlo, mayroon ng tinalagang office para gumawa ng mga trabahong ito tungo nga sa paglabang ng hazard para hindi tayo makaranas ng disaster in our community. So, I'll end this video right now, and again, salamat sa nag-comment for asking what is the essence of DRRM or the Republic Act 10121. Kung meron pa po kayong gustong i-suggest na i-discuss natin, please comment down below. I'll be willing to help in any way I can. So again, maraming salamat po sa inyo at mabuhay ka.
So, that is the importance of the RRM Act of 2000. So let's go back to our slideshow presentation. So for week 17, once again, it is about the Philippine Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Law and the functions of NDRRMC. So these are the following functions of NDRRMC. So of course, develop a NDRR framework which shall provide for comprehensive all hazards, multi-sectoral, interagency, community-based approach to disaster risk reduction and management. Also ensure that the NDRR plan is consistent and advise the president of status of the disaster preparedness, prevention, mitigation, response, and rehabilitation operations being undertaken by the government. So on your handouts or PDF file, kindly refer to it. So we have a lot of functions of NDRRMC. So malinaw naman dun sa mga pinakitang video din. So that is for NDRRMC. These are the following functions. So formulate in coordination and constitute a technical management group composed of representatives and so on and so forth. So functions of the RDRRMC. So the following functions we have here: coordinate, integrate, supervise, and evaluate the activities of the local disaster risk reduction and management councils, responsible in ensuring disaster-sensitive regional development plans, and in case of emergencies, shall convene the different regional line agencies and concerned institutions and authorities. And establish also an operating facility to be known as the Regional Disaster Risk Reduction Management Operations Center, or the RDRRMC whenever necessary. So these are the functions of Regional Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Operations Center. So we also have functions of the LDRRMCS. So these are the following: approve and monitor and evaluate the implementation of the LDRRMPs. And of course, kailangan regular na re-review yun and natetest yung plan. Very consistent din dapat. And ensure the integration of disaster risk reduction and climate change adaptation into local development of plans, programs, and budgets as a strategy in sustainable development and poverty reduction. And the last, another function that we have is recommend the implementation of force or preemptive evacuation of local residents and convene the local council once every 3 months or as necessary. So that are the functions of LDRRMCS. So for disaster volunteers, we have the following. So of course, sila yung volunteers will follow the guidelines set by the NDRRMC and kailangan accredited sila. And volunteers are done at municipal or city levels, and it should be yung enhancement, welfare, and protection of the volunteers will be the responsible of the agencies, civil service organization, private sector, or local government. For education and training naman, DRR or disaster risk reduction or readiness education is integrated into the school curricula of secondary and tertiary level of education, including formal and non-formal, technical vocation, indigenous learning, and out-of-school youth courses and programs. And also sa barangay, nagko-conduct din sila ng mga gantong trainings and programs dahil project ito ng mga SK councils. And mandatory training of public sector employees, lahat ng mga nagtatrabaho sa gobyerno ay kailangan ng training na ganito din. Also, for coordination during emergencies, we have the following. So, kindly read your handouts or PDF files for the coordination of the following sectors and programs and organizations during emergencies for lalo na sa mga potential hazards and hazards that had already occurred or happened. For state of calamity, so National Council shall recommend to the President of the Philippines the declaration and lifting of the state of calamity in the area. Scope of state calamity can be clustered of barangays, municipalities, provinces, and regions. International humanitarian assistance may be necessary, and local sanggunian or yung sinasabing ang SK, pwede din silang mag-declare ng and mag-lift ng state of calamity upon the recommendation of the LDRRMC. So these are some remedial measures or mandatory immediate undertaking of the measures when state of calamity is declared. So yung price of basic necessity, ang president ang mag-i-impose nun, and also the monitoring, prevention, and control of local price coordination, yung pag-lift or pag-hoard ng mga prime commodities such as medicines, petroleum products, and basic necessities. Also, programming and reprogramming of funds, lalo na sa mga nasirang infrastructure and facilities. And also, granting of no interest loans para sa mga nasalanta or naapektuhan ng isang disaster. We also have international humanitarian assistance. So these are the following. And for prohibited acts, kindly refer to your handouts or PDF files. We have a lot of prohibited acts such as ayun nga, buying and consumption or resale of disaster relief agencies. So, syempre, dinonate na nga yun, and then bakit mo pa ibebenta yung mga ganong bagay. And then also, yung mga goods, distribution of goods, and so on and so forth. Maraming prohibited acts under disaster risk readiness. So, ito yung mga following prohibited acts. Siyempre, marami yan dito sa Pinas kasi maraming gumagawa niyan, lalo na yung mga gahaman. So, we also have the NDRRM fund. So, kindly refer to your handouts. Pero, usually for this one, lahat ng mga fund ay kabilang. So, personal, training of personnel, mga equipments, capital expenditures, recovery, restructuring relief, and so on and so forth. So, ito yung mga funding. Funds ng LDRRM fund, funds ng NDRRM fund as well. So, and for your references, I will just post the link for the following videos that we have presented during our presentation, and also your handouts or PDF files. So for our requirements, we have only activity 1. So this is for activity 1. These are some resources for the projects and programs of the government concerning DDR. So we have the following links towards their website, and then visit all the sites and read on their programs and discuss each agency and programs that you could apply to the Cordillera Administrative Region. So thank you once again for week 17. See you on our week 18 for our final examination. So thank you everyone, and God bless.